All right. Let's switch gears. Let's do a hard reset here, guys. This is Compete and Collect. Steve has no idea what he's doing. I had to send him a deck so he could play. I want to know what questions you have because you're new. A lot of our listeners are new, and let's hear it. What kind of questions do you have at the moment?
All right, so I have the basics of Compete and Collect. Like, I understand the basics of it, or I have at least that. And again, this is going to sound so noob, where I know that, like, I have my deck, I pull a card. Like, because we're actually on video, it actually makes it almost easier to play because there's no, like, indicators of, like, what my card might be or how it is. I say, like, if I'm right, if I understand how this works, I'll say, like, aura, and then you'll say, skill, and then I'll say, okay, let's do this thing, and then we compare skill, and then winner gets the points, right?
Yep.
And then whoever has more skill is the winner, and you get sort of the points, and you basically need to collect a certain amount of points. I vaguely remember this whole thing. And so I remember this, and so I understand that aspect of it. Before we even dive in, though, I have like a thick deck of cards, and I want you to tell me what's worthwhile in here that isn't just because I like it because I like the actual character, which is actually how I identify what I liked in the cards, but what I should be thinking from a Compete and Collect perspective. Can we do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I'll try to figure out, like, I'm just going to go, like, one by one, and there's a lot of cards, but we can go through them relatively quickly. You can say yay or nay or hey, that's a good card.
Okay.
Ready? All right, cool. Let's go.
Yeah.
Good?
Yes.
Okay. Would you use that in a deck? They're kind of organized by...
Yes.
All right. I'm flying. But I can't also have too many rares, right? Like, you have to have some sort of distribution.
Each one of those rares is worth 2 points against a 15 cap.
Got it. Okay. This is obviously a valuable card.
Oh, no. But yes.
To me personally. Yes. Maybe not the thing. Is there value in, like, okay, actually, let's do it this way because I have so many. Tell me, like, what characters you see as the most valuable characters if you're looking through, like, the yellow-backed ones, the more common ones.
So here's my thing. Whenever I'm looking at a deck, now I'm not going to use this deck in particular. I'll use something else. But what I'm looking for is the highest numbers here. That's what I want. I want to be able to maximize the amount here, and the max that you can go is 25. So the more 24s, 23s, 25s that you can get into your deck, the better. Now what happens is you'll get cards. Some cards will be like this electric eel that has a great 25 over here, but absolute dog water over here. Because like an 18 and a 20, you're pretty much going to lose every time. It's a pretty low score on total as well. So if you don't hit this 25, it's going to be tough for you to win that hand. But it is a really powerful card because it has 25. So I try and maximize.
Is that like a way, just real quick, that you would like strategically play it in the sense that you would say, like, your goal, and there might be some mental, gymnastics here, right, that you're playing, or like mental like games where you're like, maybe you won't say stamina up front, and maybe you want someone to challenge you on stamina, and you're like, boom, let's roll. Like, you basically want to get someone to that 25 to say, let's go. Is that how you play?
Think about it like this. So if I had, this guy had 6, right? So he has 6 over here, and I pull this card. I'm trying to stay away from stamina, even though it's my strongest. If he says aura, I'm like, accept, whatever. Let's move on to the next card. Because I need to avoid my strongest, actually. Even though...
Now, why is that? Why are you avoiding it even though he has 6 there?
Well, because what will happen, though, is let's say that he pulls... Let's say over on his side, he has this card. Right, so he has the fire chicken, as we like to call it, and I have the eel. So we have 25s. Both of these are 25s. So if I call stamina, he accepts. Okay, cool. We tied. It goes into the tie bank. So now there's 1 point sitting in the tie bank. So anything I lose, he's going to get that point in the tie bank. So then he'll automatically win. So I try to avoid this number anytime that they are close to winning, even if I have a great number on mine, because I don't want it to go to the tie bank. Because
and remind me how you win. Is it getting 7 in one category? Remind
Yes.
me what the win is. 7 in any one category?
7 in one category. So let's say that, for example, I call stamina. You accept. I beat you. I would get 1 stamina. Let's say I call aura. You decline skill. And I accept that. And you beat me. You'll get 2. Because it was on the second round. Now, let's say we go through that whole thing and we get to stamina for the third one, and we accept, and you beat me, that one you would get 3. And let's say, okay, well, shit, I don't like any of my sub-scores. Let's go total, because one of yours was like a Boss Bobcat, I think.
Yep.
It's not a very good card to play, but it's a great TTT card, because now I can just go straight to total score. And now I can get 1 of each. Because when you go total, it's 1 of each. And you would get whatever's in the tie bank.
So, okay, so first to 7 in any given category. And do you have to go in order, or can I start with stamina and then go to like skill after that?
That is the greatest part, is you can go wherever you want to, except for total, unless you have a rare plus. If you have a rare plus and you want to go TTT, you can do that once per game immediately. Otherwise, you got to go through all the sub-scores to get to total.
So if you have like 6 in a bank and you pull a better than rare card that you know that you're like, okay, I got a rare plus, like you're basically going to just go TTT, boom, game over. Or they pull out a perfect Persian on you and you feel bamboozled, right?
Yes, correct. Yep, you're right on cue.
Okay, awesome. Last thing I have, and then I'd love to play a little bit. Last thing I have, okay, I have an OG Ox that is serial number 10 out of 500. Do the serial numbers matter to people, or are they just like, look, these are here to play?
No, some people really like clean serial numbers, is what they'll call them, like the 1s, the 5s, the 10s, the anything with 5s is good, like 55, of course, in this community.
Yeah,
but yes, they do matter. I think they do matter.
Cool. Yeah, I'm always curious about that because I have 3 rares and my OG Ox is 10 out of 500, and I saw that just as somebody who does. I am a serial number guy for whatever reason. I don't know why. I think it's just I like the numbers as a collector, and so like even when I was collecting like Top Shot stuff, I would actually pay up a couple extra bucks if it meant that I was going to get to have sort of a more like a 3-digit serial or a 2-digit serial versus a 4 or 3. So I'm somebody who always did that, but I wasn't sure if that mattered.
Yeah, it does matter for some people, for sure.
And then you had sent me like a pack, and obviously I understand like exactly what's going on here. And then I have these other just Veefriends other cards that I'm not like as familiar with from the Compete and Collect. What are these green guys that I'm playing with right here that you gave me?
Oh, so those are not anything to play with. Those were just as a thank you for coming on the pod. Those are from the Wizard packs.
Oh, thank you.
Yep. Yeah, those are just Wizard packs.
That.
So you don't have to, none of those do anything at the moment.
Because I remember a while back when we talked offline, you had mentioned like, and this is one of the best parts about communities and NFTs is y'all had like created some like basically booster packs that changed the dynamics of the game to make it so you weren't just playing the same decks over and over again as people were getting more familiar, which I just think, to me, that is like very fucking cool that like the community iterates on the actual game itself. It's almost very much like what, Pirate Nation or Pixel Vault with Reboot are building in public with Battle Plan, what they're doing. It's almost like the community, well, it's not an official thing and they're more official. You're affecting potentially the way the game can be played in a positive way to say, we think we can improve upon this. And I think that's cool. Like, well, people will be like, oh, there'll be purists, I'm not sure, who want to play official like rules. It would be really cool if like there's a world in the future where people are using your sort of packs to say like, hey, we're going to change up the game. This is going to be like a Ron Jordan tournament or whatever you want to call it, right? It's like that would be, I think, just a cool dynamic. And I think y'all should run one of those actually at some point. That'd be cool.
We have talked about like having specific like gameplay styles that you're better at, like tennis, singles, doubles. There's people that are good at one version versus the other, and we're like, well, maybe somebody's like really good at this boost, like their Dale's booster packs. Maybe they're really good at that version, but not like the regular version, and their specials we've definitely talked about that. Yeah, for sure.
One more question as we go too, because you had obviously been kind enough to send me a deck, and I know you sent me like one. If it's a tie, the rarity is the tiebreaker, right? Is that true? Or does it go to the tie bank no matter what?
Repeat that question.
Sorry, it's like let's say that I go with a 19 stamina. So you sent me the intuitive iguana, which was 19 stamina. Let's say that we go and we both have 19, right?
Yep.
Is the rarity a tiebreaker, or does it go into the tiebreaker?
Nope. The rarity doesn't matter whenever you're talking subscores. The rarity only matters when you go total.
If you go total. So if like this one says total score 75 but total 75. If we both have 75, then it would say like yes. Got it. It'll be tied to the rarity. Also, should I be, if you had sent me, so as a question, you sent me the intuitive iguana in this nice sleeve. Are any of these 3 cards ones that I should replace it with rarity in it? Like, so I have this this OG Ox that has some pretty good numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I have this Fearless Fairy, which I think
the Fearless Fairy.
The
Fearless Fairy is a good card. I would have all 3 of those in my deck.
Got it. So I can include all 3 of those. I have to remove. So I removed 3 other ones that you had sent me and add those 3 to the deck to play now.
Exactly. Yeah, you want to get. So what I'm doing is I'm playing a few of my rare cards. So let's say like these are going to be the rare cards I'm going to play. So I have 2 very rares and a rare. So this is 2 points against my 15. That's a very rare, so that's 3 points against my 15. And that's another 3 points. So 3, 6, 7, 8 against 15. So I still have 7 points I could play with if I wanted to add more rare cards.
I got it. So my deck has to be 15. So these 3, if I put in,
20.
Are
the
all...
deck is 20.
The
deck is 20 cards.
What's that? Okay, got it.
Yeah,
got it.
The full deck is 20 cards, including your rare cards.
Got it. So this would be 6 if I do these 3 in. And then I look at the other ones. It goes 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And then I would just basically theoretically pull out the rest, and then I would have them, or does that have to be a certain number?
So it's 20 total cards. Okay.
Got it.
So then there's 15 rarity points. So the rarity points don't have anything to do with the amount of cards. It's actually just the associated number. So like these cores, they're 0 points against your rarity, but it's 1 point against your total deck. So I need to have 20 total cards, including my rare cards. Okay. So I need to have 20 cards total. Then, if I wanted to change out some of these cards for rare cards, I just need to make sure that I stay under 15 points. And the rare cards are worth 2 points. The very rares are worth 3 points. And epic is worth 4 points. And then a spectacular is worth 5 points against 15. But they only are 1 point against the 20 for a total deck of cards. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so the yellows don't add to my rarity score at all. They just add to my total score. So in theory, I should have all 4 of these rare ones in my deck because because that's still only 8, so I'm not even surpassing the 15.
Yep.
And then I just need another 16 total cards, right?
That's it. And none of the characters can overlap. So you can't have.
All right, so then I. Wait, repeat that last point. Sorry.
I said you can't have the same character more than one time. So you can't have like a full deck of perfect Persian cats.
Got it. Yeah, makes perfect sense. So I'm gonna even just randomly select. I'm just gonna look at totals and take my best total ones real quick as I go.
Yeah,
you had sent through. So this is awesome. I totally could have actually, like, now that you're doing this, I'm like, well, I could have actually put this together with what I have. I just wasn't aware of the proper way to do it, but I appreciate you walking me through it.
Yeah,
so
no problem.
1, 2, 3.
I was probably sending out more cards anyhow.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I think we're at 20 now. Let's do this thing. I'm cool. Let's shuffle them up. go through them, and then we'll try. You will absolutely annihilate me. That's okay. That's how you learn. It's the way my kids learn. The first time my son beat me in Mario Kart, he went nuts because he knew that he earned it, because I never let that kid win.
Oh, I never let my daughter win anything. My first date with my wife was we were shooting pool, demolished her. Just not even close. Like, this is what you're getting into.
How did she react to that? Because that's so funny, because I could see her going, I know Liz a little bit. Like, I could see her going a couple different directions with it.
She was fine with it. I think she thought I was cute, so she was fine with it.
Yeah, nice. It's almost like yeah, that's kind of a baller move. I like that. I dig it.
Yeah. I was just like, hey, this
cool
is I'm kind of competitive no matter what. Yes, I like you, but hey, this first.
Yeah, this is what you're getting into. That's how my wife is. It's like my daughter will sometimes be like, daddy can get on my nerves sometimes with his like corny jokes or whatever, like, to mommy, and like my wife just goes like, I signed up for this. I'm not as bothered by you. Like, I knew exactly what I was getting into.
Yep, for sure. Okay, so we do a coin toss at the beginning. You call heads or tails. So this is the CCC, which is the Courage Compete and Collect. That's where you and I were chatting about this game. And then tails is the Carson Caramels. So go ahead and call it in the air.
Okay. I love that. Tails never fails. Tails.
And heads has been coming up all day today. So it's heads. And I'll defend.
Tails failed.
So you get to attack first. So you get to call out your...
Okay.
You get to call it out first.
So I have turned him upside down, so I don't know what's coming. That's the proper protocol, right?
Correct.
Then I've upside... Okay, cool. Turn it upside down. So I'm going to go with... Stamina.
Decline. Aura.
Decline. Skill.
I gotta go total. This is a crap card. Hot shit hornet.
Oh, all right. So I got one.
Hey, look, elite. The elite catfish. So you get 1,
Compassion.
2. Come on. There we go. All right, so you get 1 point
And 3
each.
because we're on the third one. That's awesome.
Yep. Well, no, it's not the third.
Alrighty.
It went total score. So you get 1 of each.
Oh, that's right. Right. It went total, so I got 1 of each. Perfect.
All right, my
Awesome.
attack. I attack skill.
Stamina.
Aura.
I'll take it. What's aura? Let's go.
20.
23.
Hey, he got 3 there. He got 3. 1, 2, 3. There you go.
I always remember too. It always feels low key like you're playing Name That Tune when I'm doing this to me, where it's like you're saying that and it's like name that tune. All right, my turn to go first.
Yes.
Let's go skill.
Decline. Aura.
Decline. Stamina.
Decline total. 63.
Right.
Dang.
69.
Somebody loaded this guy
I'm
up.
getting lucky.
Somebody loaded this guy up.
Yeah, it's almost like you set me. It's almost like you set me. It's like you set me up a little bit here in the best way possible. I appreciate that. This is like, here you are, like, I never let people win, and you're giving me the deck that's like letting me, like, it's yeah, I like this.
You know. All right, it is my turn to attack.
You're like, just not Alyssa. Anybody else can win.
No, I'm not letting you win. I'm just like, I'm kind of playing a little bit too loose.
Yeah. All right, good.
I attack aura.
Okay, so I have a question which is going to tell my hand a little bit, but I want to
okay.
get the answer to this. So my card is atrocious, and I'm not going to win anything on this. So for my money, it's best to accept aura and just eat it, right? Versus continuing down this road.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, and then I'll just accept. I'll accept.
Yep, 23.
Cool. I got 17, but I didn't think, and this would have had 53 total, 17 aura, 20 skill, and 16 stamina.
Yeah, that's like a throwaway
So I didn't feel
card.
like I was going to win anything. So just like eat the 1 point, right?
You're smart. You got it. So I
got it. Cool.
Aura, your attack.
All right, let's go aura.
Decline skill.
All right, I'll accept because I'm going to lose this one too.
23.
Oh yeah, you're gonna beat me. 20.
Got it. So 2 on the skill. My attack. I attack Aura.
Okay, so I'm gonna do something else again here, and you tell me if I played this right.
Yep.
I'm gonna accept Aura, and the reason I'm doing it is, while I have a decent total, I have 23s across the board. So my thought is like, why go further if I'm not sure? And 23 is kind of a questionable number, right?
For sure. That's a good
Okay,
call.
so it's a push.
Yep, it's a tie. So one into the. Oops. Reset. There we go. Okay. Yep, 1 into the tie bank. So now, just to even out the scores here, so you have 5 aura, 2 skill, 2 stamina. I have 2 aura, 2 skill, 0 stamina, and we have 1 aura in the tie bank. I attack skill.
I'm just gonna accept and lose the tie bank. Again, I got a lower one here, so I'm just kind of punting, right?
Yep, 23.
Yeah, nothing I was gonna win. Yeah, so like this is like part of the strategy, right? You're minimizing damage and looking at the numbers and realizing like where you're best suited for in that sense.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of the times it is about minimizing damage, and sometimes it just really sucks whenever you pull a cockatoo out whenever whenever the time is right for a rare card and you lose the game. You know, those things happen.
Yeah. I think it's my serve, so to speak.
It's my
stamina.
attack. It's my attack, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're good.
Okay.
I do try and keep track of this. So whenever you see this coin down here, it's me. When it's up here, it's you. I try.
Oh.
I try.
It's like you've done this before. Got it.
Yeah. I try and keep track as much as I can. All right. I'll just go with you. Let's go stamina.
All right, I'll take it because I'm punting again.
21.
Yeah. Yeah, all right, I had 15, but I didn't. Again, that's another one where you look at the cards and there's nothing over. So I'm kind of getting a good sense of like where there might be opportunity and where you might, and realizing you might pull a crappy card too, but like,
Sure.
you know, yeah. All right, I'll go skill.
Except 18.
Oh, we got tie bank.
Hey. How do you tie on 18s? That's awesome.
Yeah, that's crazy.
All right, stays on you.
We will go aura.
Decline stamina.
Decline skill.
Go total. 64.
I fucked up. I played that so poorly. 55.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Whew. All right, so I get 1 of that, and then what was that? 2 skill? What did we just go on there? Chat, help me out.
We tied on skill on the 20, right? Oh no, wait. We went total on this one, and I blew it.
Yeah.
It was 55.
1, 2, 3. Okay. Got
Cool.
me. All right. And then my attack. I attack aura.
Let's go skill.
Decline stamina.
I'll take it.
23. Woo!
24.
Boy. 1, 2, 3. Ouchie, mama. No, Bwayne. Okay. Your attack.
Let's go skill.
Accept.
Ah, shit. I was hoping you weren't going to accept.
23.
I blew it.
Yes.
You got it. Yeah, you got it.
Oh.
I was hoping you were going to go, because if you went aura, I'd accept. If you went stamina, I'd decline. So I was trying to like play in and get you to move it, you know?
Dude, wasting that fairy, that's the one thing that I've been worried about, is that damn fairy coming out. Woo!
Yeah. I blew it. I was like, because like my worry is like, if I started on aura, so tell me about this real quick as we go through it. So if I started on aura with 4 and you decline, then I only have a 22 and a 21 left. So the thinking was I play the 22 and I decline, or you go 24 and I accept. So the thinking was like I played like the middle number, hoping that you would decline, and then I would be pretty safe, right?
So the way that your score is right now, if you call skill, I don't care what my card says, I'm accepting it, because unless I have a 24 or a 25 in aura or stamina, remember how I said I want to try and avoid those things sometimes? You just said skill, so I'm like, cool, I'm in. Let's go. Because you only have 2 skill.
Oh, so like, got it. So like the downside, if I had said like stamina or aura, I should have tried to get you to say skill for me to decline.
Yeah.
In some way, because the way it works in stamina and aura, I have 5, so you're trying to avoid those numbers, and plus you have 6 down there, so you're playing for the win there. Oh, yeah. I can get it. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yep.
The scoring makes sense. Got it.
And it is my attack. Card here. I attack stamina.
So you have 2 in stamina, and I have 5 in stamina, correct?
Correct.
Ooh. What's a high number in total considered? Like, what's high, what's low? Like, what's the baseline?
23 with these core decks is pretty high. 23, 24 is definitely high. 23 is like a gamble, in my opinion.
What about like the total, like the circle number?
68 and above.
Okay, so I'm gonna accept stamina.
Okay.
Right now, and tell me if I played this wrong. So here's my number. I'm losing it because I have 18. But my thinking here is that I wasn't. Oops, sorry.
Yep.
I wasn't gonna win total.
Nope.
So I had 63 in total and wasn't gonna win. You weren't gonna accept aura where I had 24. In 21, I only had in skill. So if I just minimize damage and stamina where you have lower score, it helps my cause, right?
You got it. You got it. All right, that is now your attack, and we both still have TTTs left. So if you pull a rare plus or something like that, you can call a TTT.
Got it.
Your attack.
All right. Is it my turn?
Yep.
All right, let's go with stamina.
TTT.
Oh, no. Oh,
86?
I got a 60.
No, you have...
Oh, 86. I have 75. You have 86.
Oh,
right, because it's like boosted. There you go. So you got me, right?
Yep. I got you.
Ball game?
That's the ball game. Good game.
Oh, love that.
Yo, we went through some cards. That was great.
Yeah, is that like longer than normal game? How long does a game usually last?
Yeah, they're usually like 5 to 7 minutes. Sometimes if there's some good conversation, it can last up to 15. But yeah, there's some games, like I just played with Connor. I beat him in 7 cards.
Oh, wow.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It was like 7 cards or something like that. But it's because like we kept tying, and then the tie bank got so big, and then I called a TTT, and I ended up just blasting them.
Yeah, it's like a skins game. It's basically like once you won one hole, it was like everything.
Yeah.
I need to see, now that I know this, so I can get, so just to recap on building a deck.
Please.
I can get a maximum of 15 rarity points, meaning I could have up to 15 points worth of rares in my deck. And then I have to then have 20 total cards. So the ideal deck has 15 basically, and this is why people will pay up probably for a more rare card, because then you can get that in your deck towards your 15. Yep. But it also, it's almost like balancing like a skill in a video game where it's like, you might have one that's worth 4, like the Spectacular, I think you said was worth 4 or 5. If I recall.
Yep.
And so if I have a Spectacular, it means I'm going to have less rares. Is there strategy that's been sort of decided upon of the best of hey, it's best to just spread across 1 3-point rarity and then the rest 2 points? Or what do people usually do?
So that's the big contention that happens every single time you're trying to build a deck is, do you run, let's say, a TTT card? Right? So some people will just run these cards inside of their deck, even though they're absolute garbage outside of a TTT. So a lot of the guys who have been winning, like Tom, for example, he wins a lot. There's a few other guys like Poker Pros, and of course Raul. He made this sort of famous. Was you want as many of your sort of mediocre cards, so like these these lower tier 70 cards to be your rare cards. So they run way more rares. So they'll do all rares and a very rare instead of running an epic and less rares. I think it's a good idea. That's what I did today against Connor, and it was a really good idea. I like it. It gives you more options and more percentages to win because you have 24s and 25s plus a high total.
Yeah, so like that makes sense. Like, because there's different strategies where it's like you could have that high upside. You know, it's sort of like by including a lot of TTT cards, it's like you're giving yourself a lot of options to play as needed. But then also, and that like almost keeps it in your back pocket if you're just like, hey, like I need like there's like what happened to you today. If there's a big tie bank,
yeah,
like, and you have 5 cards in there that you could TTT, it just means that you could you have a 1 in 4 shot, a 25% chance of pulling that, which means you have a 25% chance every single time of being able to say, I'm taking you to town on this one. Because like in my mind, as I'm still learning, I wasn't even thinking TTT. You reminded me, which was great, where you're like, hey, you still have that. But to your point, like I didn't TTT on like a rare card, and I could have on like the fairy, like for example. And so it's a good idea of like, even if you get one a game, giving yourself a 1 in 4, 1 in 3 shot of getting that, it just gives you options, which it's almost like in Jeopardy. I remember, I think it was James Holzhauer was the guy's name who was on Jeopardy. He just always did, he was a professional gambler. And he always like just daily doubled every single time. He went searching for the daily doubles. It would drive Jeopardy people nuts because instead of going straight down the category, he went over the board. And it was because he looked for them. And then when he found them, he always doubled because he figured the variability against his knowledge was like, chances are I get this. And if not, I can make up for a daily double hunting somewhere else. And so I think like it's almost the same idea of like giving yourselves a 1 in 4 shot of pulling that TTT. It may hurt you throughout, but the actual variability of pulling it against, say, a tie when the tie bank is full or something, because let's face it, a lot of these numbers are very similar. Like we had like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 ties in this stream alone.
Yep.
Then if that tie bank gets up, you have that 1 in 4 shot. You're like, boom, I just won the game. You know when you pull it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that the more times that you can have a rare to lean on, that will beat all the cores. So I think if you are building a deck, you want to have a deck that can beat a 75. So your rare needs to at least be able to beat a 75. Because that's a black cat, that's a perfect Persian cat. You know, those are and you'll beat all top tier core cards with a 70, we'll say 76 plus on the total score. So this score in the red, because whenever you go total on a spectacular, rare, very rare, or epic like this, you always go to that red score here.
Got it.
Yep.
That makes sense. No, that's actually really helpful because I think that like what it does is, so I love strategy games in general. First of all, that's actually one of the reasons I actually really dig that you put the booster pack thing in there, where it's kind of changing up the game because it adds a new element of dynamic of strategy and thinking to it, which changes the game. But like, I like games like that in general because what they do is they let me think about the variability of like what my strategy is. And like, you may have I actually love games like that. Like I played poker out of college to pay my bills. And like poker's one of those games where you could do the best in the world, but you could still lose. Like you'll still get busted. And that's what like Pixel Vault Battle Plan does, which I really like, is like you can be really smart in your builds, but like might just have some level of bad luck in a random number generator or whatever. This is very similar as a TCG. And I know all TCGs are like that in the sense that like you build based on a strategy. And I imagine at the highest level, if you're playing like Yu-Gi-Oh! Professionally or something like that, you probably even know your opponent's core strategies and how you want to play against them. So there's probably a little bit of things like that you'll see. Have you ever gone to a compete and collect or played with someone on a stream or gone to a tournament and been surprised at the build they brought or been like, I didn't expect that?
Yeah, like everybody pretty much that isn't, I don't want to say like part of the core group, but like there's a lot of people that I'm like, man, I didn't even know that you played, and they came to Josh's tournament and they were not ready. They were not ready for an IJ Rob. They were not ready for Thought Wrong and me and Tom and Josh. Like they didn't even stand a chance. And it's because their deck builds were not even close to that top tier. We're calling it professional series because it takes It takes a lot to get those cards, but at the same time, like once you have them, you smash this game.
Yeah. And now, is there it'll be interesting to have like almost different, like, and obviously it's, Josh's tournament was big for the amount of turnout it had, but not like it wasn't like rooms like, World Series Poker.
Yeah. Right.
I wonder if there's a world where there's like almost, I mean, it's kind of honor system, but I mean, we're fucking Veefriends. We should have the honor system. I mean, it's kind of in the ethos of everything. Yeah. I wonder if there's a world where there's like someone like me is like an amateur, and if I play well in that and figure it out, because like I tend to be good at strategy games and card games, it's just in my brain works that way. I figure out like the loopholes in a game immediately and the ways to do it.
Yep.
Like maybe at that point it's like, okay, you're ready for the next level, and then there's like the senior tour, which is guys like you that like things you've said on this where it's like even I wasn't paying attention to the score, for example, and that fundamentally may have cost me the game or was a critical mistake nonetheless. Like I wonder if there's like almost divisions that could be had where people have like ranks against a spreadsheet where it's like I'm an amateur now, but if I show up a few times and I start to figure it out and I go spend some money online and do some builds, now I'm like, okay, now I have like I no longer belong in the amateur rank and I should be playing at a higher level.
Yeah, there are definitely leagues that we've already done. They were 3-week leagues. We've done a couple different things where that has happened for sure. I like the idea. It's just we need to get more people to play the game, and that's the whole reason behind this podcast and trying to teach more people how to play is because there's not enough people playing the game. That has been my biggest criticism of this whole entire ecosystem is everybody likes to break the cards, collect the big boys, spend the money, but it means nothing if kids don't play the game. It means nothing if the cartoons don't catch. It just, none of it means anything if we don't make it bigger. And if people aren't playing the game, I think that's a huge void inside of this space. So that's why I wanted to get more people playing, because then you can have things like that, those circuits, and like almost like football leagues where you have this league and you do well for a while, then you bump, and then you end up becoming into the Premier League.
I have an idea that's random that I'm sure I will probably not follow through on. Like it's one of those things where it's like ideas versus execution. But you know what's an interesting thought is having almost a Web3 game Olympics type thing where it's like, look at like what the Web3 games are. And it's like, have people have to be like well-rounded, right, to win. It's almost like, I'm thinking of like college with the beer Olympics where there's like beer pong and flip cup and all the different games and you saw who won what. But this doesn't involve binge drinking. I guess it could, but it doesn't. But like the idea of like compete and collect being one of the things, right? And you're like almost like, so at the CrossFit games each year, which is like, I used to be into CrossFit. It's like, they'll do like all sorts of different domains of like, some are based on speed, some are based on stamina, some are based on strength. And they have like a dozen things to find the most well-rounded best athlete. And you get points based on finishing. It would be super interesting if they're like, all right, you're going to play battle plan and you play 5 rounds and your best score, best finish goes against it. So if you win 15 there, great. That's going to be tied for first, get you first place points. And then you could do like compete and collect in another. And I wonder if there's like a fun Web3 collaborative game, something in Pudgy World, something like that would be really cool if you had different stations that people played on, got an official score with official like posters. And like, you could have a podium of like, who is the best actual Web3 gamer, you know?
I love the idea. We were playing a game. Dale and I were playing a game. I bring up Dale a lot because he and I mess around on Twitch streams a lot, and we'll just play random games together. A lot of it's compete and collect, but some of it's like this Web3 game, and he was having us play a game where you're like, you type out the letter. Like they give you 3 letters, and then you have to type out the rest of it. Like you have to make up a word, and then it rows somebody like a rowboat to a finish line. And the more words that you guess, obviously, and the faster you guess, the faster your boat goes. So there's like a competition. But to play the game, you had to have an NFT. It was token gated. But I think that there's something there. I've actually talked to Vayner Sports Pass about having a like a golf outing, like a in real life golf outing against other projects. So against other brands inside of the space, be like, okay, because we're like the sports NFT with sports things and thingdoms and all of those guys. We've sort of kind of niched out that spot, and I'm like, dude, there's tons of people out there that are playing golf, and it would be a cool in real life event. You could even put it around some other bigger event, because people are already going to be there, and do a golf outing. And then do like the ticketing with NFTs and all that stuff, but there could be mini games inside of there. Yeah, I've thought about that too. I think that there's so much room for collaboration between the brands inside of this space that is just untapped to a certain extent. It just doesn't happen enough.
It's funny you say that too. One of the first things we did after we founded DGen Network in like July of 2021 or June of 2021, a couple months later, the football season started. We did a fantasy football draft, and we had a Gutter Cat team, at the time, a Royal Society of Player team, a DGen team, a Bored Ape team. Like, we had all these different teams, and like, it got communities involved. There's a Veefriends team. Like, we asked Big Eric if we could do Veefriends, and he was like, I'm in, motherfucker. Like, he was into it, like, and so it's like, and he just delegated a team, but it was like, that sort of thing is really fun because there is that identity, like a sports team of the community. It's funny, when I talked about like the Olympics, I was thinking of crowning an individual, but to your point, like, you could have people representing like an individual brand that they are like strongly tied to, and have like the best of the best saying like, do your best to represent us and show up what we can do. And there's something to that, especially like golf. Like I used to actually be not good at golf, but I was the guy who could golf. On a good day it was 87, on a bad day it was 97, right? It was like just one of those days where there's a lot of variability. Rarely like managed to break 100 regularly, but it's like maybe it was 99. And but then I'd have a day where I'd like light it up and be like, oh man, I shot 85. It's nuts. It was just on fire. Now I play like once a year. But there's something about golf outings that are not just fun for competitive nature, but they're also like one of the best team building things with those people you're with. Because, whether you drink or not, like a couple of beers or whatever, a couple of cigars, whatever, if you're into that sort of thing, just, trading shots. And like, one of the things I like love is team dynamic games like a scramble, because then instead of being competitive or having a lot of pressure, everybody's just celebrating and high-fiving everybody. Like, someone has a good chip or chips in, you go nuts and everybody remembers that and they tell the story for the rest of the day, and that person gets to be the hero of the day at that point. Or like, it's a cool, like, even when you play bad in a golf outing, you're like, oh man, Brian saved us with those 5 shots, man, or else it would have been even worse,
Yep, exactly. It's huge in the team building, and I think that because I do a lot of golf outings just for work in general, and being able to just shoot the shit with those guys for the 4 hours that you're on the course it just gives you a new perspective of that person and where they come from and what they're about and how they play golf. Because if they cheat at golf all the time, just watch them. Just be careful. If they're kicking the shoe wedge, and just saying.
That's such a good point. If someone's using the foot wedge a little too much, or like what's going on there, or if you're, like it's one thing if like I've been in tournaments where they're like, hey, fluff rule. If you're in the rough and you're buried, it's fun with charity, like fluff rule. Fine, you know what I mean? And especially if it's a scramble, like then you get, unless you're drop scrambling, you're good. But to your point, like there is something to be said. Like I've had this conversation before with like people where I'm like weird in the sense that like one of the reasons like I don't cheat is because I'm so competitive. And I know that maybe this means I'm not a good athlete in the sense that athletes are always trying to get the edge, right? At the highest level. Sure. Like they're always a little bit of holding here, things like that. But people are like, they're like, did you cheat? I'm like, I don't cheat because I'm so competitive that I have zero pride of victory if I cheated. And it's almost like a selfish reason I don't cheat at things, or like at golf or other things. It's like, if I win or have a good score, but I know that I cheated, it means nothing to me. It's like, what's the point of winning then if you cheated? I'm not actually better than that other person, which might sound psycho, but it's actually how I operate.
Doesn't sound psycho to me, because if I win, I want to make sure I did it in the way that it gave like you the best chance to win, and I still beat you. That's what I want.
Yeah, like I don't need to like pull some bullshit or anything like that, like, and so like, yeah, for me, it's like, that's like so important to me, not like doing things that are shady or whatever. I'm not going to look at your cards or whatever. It's like, cover your cards, whatever. But like, it's like, I don't see value in that, like, because my pride to some degree is like, I didn't really win that game. I shouldn't have won that game. It's like, what am I even bragging about at that point? Like, I know internally that I didn't win the right way. And so it doesn't do anything. It diminishes it for me.
It's almost like you're
holding this secret.
your ego peeks through in the most positive way possible.
Yeah, it's true. It's like I tell people, like, it's like one of the things, like, people are like, oh, you're so nice, you compliment other people. I'm like, I get genuine joy out of putting my friends on and helping people feel better and like telling them when they've done something well, not just because, and I always mean it. Like, I don't say it if I don't mean it. Like, I'm not a BSer, but like, I get that genuine joy, and it's almost this like selfish thing of how good I feel when I can make someone else feel good. And it's like the ego in a positive way, or the not cheating thing. It's like the ego in a way that it's like, it won't let me do it. It's like it shines through in that way.
You the man, Steve. You the man. Hey, dude, thank you so much for coming on. You're welcome back anytime. Whenever you get that deck built up, we'll run it back. And yeah, I'm super excited. And also, too, guys, and you know, I plug things all the time, but if you have not picked up the book, pick it up. Everything Token. I listened to it on my way to Cali a couple weeks ago, front to back. Loved it. It was like listening to your podcast because you narrate it. So if you do it on like an Audible, it's going to be Steve's voice. It's going to be Scott's voice. It's really cool. It also gives like a great 101 on NFTs and blockchain, but then also like dives into some 201 stuff. So it's good for anybody who's kind of been in the space or just new to the space too. So that's what I appreciated about it the most, is anybody can sort of pick it up and glean some value from it. But is there anything else, Steve, that you want to get across at the moment?
No, appreciate the kind words. Like you said, if people pick up the Everything Token, that's the biggest thing. If you pick it up, tweet me so I can thank you personally. And then, you know, that means a ton to me. So, and this is, like I said, this was fun. It's just hanging out with a friend, like playing a card game, which is what makes it so fun. And just having it, like, we would have this conversation if there were no cameras. So,
exactly.
You get to be all stoked. So I will build a deck and I will be back for more.
My man. All right, we'll run it back. We'll do it. Thank you again, Steve. And hey, guys, until next time, keep building those decks. Stay strong. Take care, everybody.